Be me, a 25-year-old dude who's been simping for this one girl, Emily, for like 3 years now. We met in college, and she was this beautiful, smart, and charming person who just drew me in. At first, it was all cool, we'd hang out, study together, and I'd buy her coffee or lunch sometimes. But over time, it just escalated, and I found myself paying for everything, her tuition fees, her car payments, her rent, and even her credit card debt. I know it sounds crazy, but I just couldn't help myself. I was so invested in her, and I thought that if I just kept providing for her, she'd eventually fall in love with me. My friends and family would always tell me to stop, that I'm being used, but I wouldn't listen. One day, I'm sitting in my apartment, staring at my bank account, and I see that I've got like $500 left. I start thinking to myself, man, what am I doing? I've got bills to pay, and I'm barely scraping by, all because I'm funding Emily's lifestyle. It hits me, like a ton of bricks, that I've been a simp for way too long, and it's time to stop. You're an idiot, I say out loud to myself, you're literally throwing your money away on someone who doesn't even care about you. I take a deep breath, and I decide that I'm done, I'm not gonna pay for Emily's stuff anymore. I pick up my phone, and I text her, hey, we need to talk. Emily responds, like, 5 minutes later, what's up? I hesitate for a bit, thinking about how I'm gonna break the news to her, but then I just go for it. I'm not gonna be able to pay for your rent this month, I type, my heart racing. There's a long pause, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is it, she's gonna freak out. But then, my phone buzzes, and I see her response, okay, no problem, I'll just use my savings. Wait, what? That's not the reaction I was expecting. I start thinking, does she actually have savings? Has she been planning for this moment all along? My mind is racing, and I'm trying to process what just happened, when my phone buzzes again. Hey, can we meet up to talk about this in person? Emily asks. Now I'm curious, what does she want to talk about? Do I agree to meet up, or do I just cut ties and move on? My inner monologue is going crazy, as I try to decide what to do next. As I stare at Emily's message, my mind is a jumble of thoughts and emotions. I'm still trying to process the fact that she's not freaking out about me not being able to pay her rent. I mean, we've been living together for a while now, and I've always been the one to cover the bigger expenses. It's not like I'm made of money or anything, but I've always tried to take care of her. Okay, sure, when and where do you want to meet up? I type out, trying to sound casual despite the turmoil brewing inside me. I'm curious about what she wants to talk about, and a part of me is hoping that she's not going to dump me or something. As I wait for her response, I start thinking about all the things that could go wrong. What if she's been planning to break up with me all along? What if she's been hiding something from me? The thoughts are swirling in my head like a vortex, making me feel anxious and uneasy. My phone buzzes again, and I see Emily's response, how about we meet up at the coffee shop down the street at 2 p.m. I glance at the time on my phone and see that it's already 1:30 p.m. I've got just enough time to grab a quick lunch and head out the door. As I'm walking to the coffee shop, I'm rehearsing all the things I want to say to Emily. I'm thinking about apologizing for not being able to pay her rent, and explaining that I'll try to make it up to her. But at the same time, I'm also feeling a little defensive. I mean, I'm not exactly rolling in dough, and I've been doing my best to take care of us. When I arrive at the coffee shop, Emily is already there, sipping on a latte. She looks up and smiles as I walk in, and for a moment, my anxiety melts away. Maybe this isn't going to be so bad after all. Hey, I say, dropping into the chair across from her. What's up? Emily sets her cup down and looks at me, her eyes serious. I know you said you couldn't pay my rent this month, but I have to ask, is everything okay? Is something going on that I should know about? I feel a pang of guilt, realizing that I've been so caught up in my own worries that I haven't even thought about how Emily might be feeling. Yeah, everything's fine, I say, trying to reassure her. I just had a few unexpected expenses come up, and I'm a little short on cash right now. Emily nods, her expression thoughtful. Okay, I get it. But can I ask you something? Sure, what is it? I say, feeling a sense of trepidation. Do you still want to be with me? Emily asks, her voice barely above a whisper. I mean, really be with me, not just pay my rent and hang out sometimes. Do you still want to be in a relationship with me? I'm taken aback by the question, and for a moment, I don't know what to say. Do I still want to be with Emily? The truth is, I've been feeling really uncertain about us lately. I care about her, but I've been feeling like we've been drifting apart. And now, with this whole rent thing, I'm starting to wonder if we're even compatible anymore. But as I look into Emily's eyes, I see something there that gives me pause. I see a deep vulnerability, a sense of hope and longing. And in that moment, I realize that I don't want to give up on us, not yet. I want to try to make things work, to see if we can overcome our problems and come out stronger on the other side. Yes, I say finally, my voice firm. I still want to be with you. Emily's face lights up with a smile, and for a moment, everything feels okay again. But as we sit there, holding hands and looking into each other's eyes, I know that we've still got a long way to go. We've got to figure out how to communicate, how to work through our problems and come out stronger on the other side. And I'm not sure if we're up to the task. As we sat there, hands clasped together, the tension in the room began to dissipate. Emily's smile was infectious, and I found myself smiling back at her, feeling a sense of relief wash over me. But as our eyes locked, I could see the uncertainty lurking beneath the surface. We both knew that this was just the beginning of a long and difficult journey. I'm glad, Emily said, her voice barely above a whisper. I was worried that you were going to say no. I squeezed her hand gently. I care about you, Emily. I don't know, things have been feeling really off between us lately. And with the rent thing, it just made me realize that we need to talk about some stuff. Emily nodded, her eyes never leaving mine. I know. I've been feeling it too. It's like we've been living separate lives, you know. We come home, we watch TV, we go to bed. But we're not really connecting anymore. I felt a pang of guilt at her words. She was right. We had been drifting apart, and I hadn't even realized it until now. I'm sorry, I said, my voice filled with emotion. I feel like I've been so caught up in my own stuff, my own problems, that I haven't been paying attention to you. To us. Emily's smile faltered, and for a moment, I saw a flash of sadness in her eyes. It's not just you, she said. I've been doing the same thing. I've been so caught up in my own worries, my own fears, that I haven't been there for you either. We sat there in silence for a moment, the only sound the ticking of the clock on the wall. I was aware of the weight of our problems, the uncertainty of our future, but in that moment, all I could think about was the woman in front of me. I wanted to hold her, to comfort her, to tell her that everything was going to be okay. Hey, I said, my voice soft. Can I ask you something? Emily nodded, her eyes curious. Do you still love me? I asked, my heart pounding in my chest. Emily's face went still, and for a moment, I thought I saw a glimmer of tears in her eyes. Yes, she said finally, her voice filled with conviction. I do. I love you, but I'm scared. I'm scared that we're not going to make it, that we're not going to be able to work through our problems. I felt a lump form in my throat as I looked at her, really looked at her. I saw the fear, the uncertainty, but I also saw the love, the hope. And in that moment, I knew that I was willing to fight for us, to fight for our relationship. I'm scared too, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. But I don't want to give up on us. I want to try, Emily. I want to try to make this work, to see if we can come out stronger on the other side. Emily's face lit up with a small smile, and she leaned in, her lips brushing against mine. "Me too," she whispered. "Me too." As our lips touched, a spark of electricity ran through my body, and I felt like I was home. It was like no time had passed at all, and we were back to where we started, full of love and hope for our future. I deepened the kiss, and Emily responded, her arms wrapping around me, pulling me closer. "I've missed you so much," I whispered, my lips still touching hers. "I've missed you too," she replied, her voice filled with emotion. "I've missed us, I've missed our laughter, our adventures, our quiet nights in." I pulled back, looking into her eyes, and saw the sincerity there. "I've been thinking a lot about us, about what went wrong," I said, my mind racing with all the what-ifs. "I realize now that I took you for granted, that I didn't appreciate you enough." Emily's eyes dropped, and she looked down at her hands, which were still wrapped around me. "I didn't appreciate you either," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I was so caught up in my own problems, my own fears, that I didn't see what was right in front of me." I took a deep breath, trying to process everything. "We both made mistakes," I said, my voice soft. "But I don't want to dwell on the past. I want to focus on the future, on us, on making this work." Emily nodded, her eyes locking onto mine. "Me too," she said, a small smile playing on her lips. "I want to try, I want to see if we can make this work. But we have to be honest with each other, we have to communicate." I nodded, feeling a sense of determination wash over me. "I'm willing to do whatever it takes," I said, my voice filled with conviction. "I'll go to therapy, I'll talk to you about my feelings, I'll do whatever it takes to make this work." Emily's smile grew, and she leaned in, her forehead touching mine. "I'll do the same," she whispered. "I'll work on my own issues, I'll communicate with you, I'll be patient and understanding." As we stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, I felt a sense of hope that I hadn't felt in a long time. I felt like we might actually be able to make this work, like we might be able to overcome our problems and come out stronger on the other side. "What's the first step?" Emily asked, her voice breaking the silence. I thought for a moment, trying to come up with a plan. "I think we need to start by talking, really talking," I said, my mind racing with all the things we needed to discuss. "We need to talk about our feelings, our fears, our hopes and dreams." Emily nodded, her eyes sparkling with agreement. "And then we need to work on rebuilding our relationship, on rebuilding our trust," she said, her voice filled with determination. I nodded, feeling a sense of excitement and nervousness. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I was willing to try. I was willing to fight for us, for our love, and for our future. As we stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, the warmth of Emily's body seeped into mine, and I felt a sense of calm wash over me. I looked into her eyes, searching for any sign of uncertainty, but all I saw was determination and a deep longing to make our relationship work. I took a deep breath, feeling a sense of resolve settle in my chest. "I think we should start by talking about what went wrong," I said, my voice low and gentle. "We need to understand what drove us apart, what made us feel so disconnected from each other." Emily nodded, her eyes never leaving mine. "I feel like we just stopped communicating," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We stopped listening to each other, stopped making time for each other. We just existed in the same space, but we weren't really together." I felt a pang of guilt at her words, knowing that she was right. I had been so caught up in my own problems, my own fears and doubts, that I had neglected her, neglected us. I thought back to all the times I had pushed her away, all the times I had shut her out. I thought about the pain I had caused her, the hurt I had inflicted. "I'm sorry, Emily," I said, my voice cracking with emotion. "I'm so sorry for pushing you away, for not being there for you when you needed me. I was struggling with my own demons, my own fears and doubts, and I didn't know how to deal with them. But that's no excuse for hurting you." Emily's eyes filled with tears, and she reached up to brush a strand of hair out of my face. "I'm sorry too," she said, her voice trembling. "I'm sorry for not being more understanding, for not being more patient. I know you were struggling, and I should have been there for you. I should have listened to you, supported you." I felt a lump form in my throat as I looked at her, as I saw the pain and sadness in her eyes. I knew that we still had a long way to go, that we still had a lot of work to do to rebuild our relationship. But in that moment, I felt a sense of hope, a sense that we might actually be able to make it work. "We can do this, Emily," I said, my voice filled with conviction. "We can work through our problems, we can rebuild our relationship. We just need to be patient, to be understanding, and to communicate with each other." Emily smiled, a small, tentative smile. "I want to try," she said, her voice filled with determination. "I want to work on us, to rebuild our relationship. I love you, and I don't want to give up on us." I felt my heart swell with emotion as I looked at her, as I saw the love and commitment in her eyes. I knew that I felt the same way, that I was willing to fight for us, to fight for our love. I pulled her close, holding her tightly as I whispered the words I knew she needed to hear. "I love you too, Emily. I'll always love you, no matter what." As I held Emily close, I could feel the tension in her body begin to dissipate, replaced by a sense of calm and tranquility. Her arms wrapped around me, holding me tightly as she buried her face in my chest. I could feel her warm breath on my skin, and the gentle tremble of her body as she struggled to contain her emotions. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her voice muffled by my shirt. "I'm sorry for everything. For pushing you away, for not being honest with you, for not being the partner I should have been." I stroked her hair, my fingers gentle as I tried to comfort her. "You don't have to apologize, Emily," I said, my voice soft. "We both made mistakes. We both hurt each other. But we can't change the past. All we can do is focus on the present, and work towards a better future." As I spoke, I couldn't help but think about the journey that had brought us to this moment. The fights, the tears, the sleepless nights spent wondering if we were going to make it. It had been a long and arduous road, but as I looked at Emily, I knew that it had all been worth it. "I know I wasn't always the best partner," I said, my voice filled with introspection. "I know I made mistakes, that I hurt you in ways I never intended. But I want you to know that I'm committed to doing better. To being better. For you, for us, for our relationship." Emily looked up at me, her eyes shining with tears. "I want that too," she said, her voice filled with conviction. "I want us to be happy, to be fulfilled. I want us to be able to look back on our relationship and know that we gave it our all, that we fought for each other, for our love." As she spoke, I could feel my heart overflowing with emotion. I knew that I was ready to do whatever it took to make our relationship work, to make Emily happy. I was ready to put in the time, the effort, the patience and understanding that our relationship required. "I love you," I said, my voice filled with emotion. "I love you more than anything, Emily. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make this work, to make us work." Emily's face softened, her eyes filling with tears as she smiled. "I love you too," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "And I'm willing to do the same. To fight for us, to fight for our love." As we stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, I knew that we still had a long way to go. But in that moment, I felt a sense of hope, a sense of possibility. I knew that as long as we had each other, as long as we were willing to fight for our love, we could overcome anything. We could overcome our differences, our fears, our doubts. We could overcome anything, as long as we had each other.